Hi Pranams, this is the voice of Umesh Kumar. Welcome and discover the new you. Wishing you all most and more. Lots of love. Thank you. Bye bye. Brahmacharya means control of all senses, not just abstinence of physical relation. It also means a restraint in a diet, even your thoughts, emotion, speech, words, etc. But the people who are 60s or 70s or the elder people, they think the brahmacharya is just abstinence of sex. No, I can see from my experience, I've seen people who are remain restrained in sex, but still they are emotionally attached to the food and other sorts of entertainments. So brahmacharya is control of all sensual pleasures, right? It doesn't mean that you should avoid sex. It only means that you should control it, right? Would a woman flush a bucket of gold and diamond down her toilet? Would a man take his currency notes and burn them in a fireplace? No man or woman with average intelligence would knowingly throw their wealth away. But if they are unaware of the assets that they may have, they may still continue to dispose them unknowingly. So this is what Brahmacharya means. It's just control of all sensual pleasures, not just sex. In medical perspective, a Brahmacharya means to keep the BSR rate zero, this body sexual rate, to zero. In this rate, there is no sexual thought. But if the thought arises, then your BSR rate jumps to 1. So BSR from 1 to 5, you need not to have any physical object to enjoy the sexual pleasure, right? So 1 to 5 is very, it's beyond our control. Like if you watch a TV or if you watch a movie, if you are in the airport, if you are in railway station, shopping mall, everywhere you can have a tendency or the probability of getting BSR 1 from 1 to 5 is very high, right? But from the 5 you can easily bring your BSR to 1 or 0. This is possible because it's only in emotional plane. But from the BSR 5 to 10, it requires physical plane, it requires a physical plane, or you yourself can excite your BSR rate from 5 to 10, and the 10 is your ejaculation, and also it brings you back immediately to BSR 0. So it is from BSR 5, from the BSR rate, that is body sexual rate, when it jumps from 5, it's not possible to bring the BSR down to 0 unless you achieve your goal. So very difficult, because in BSR 5 to BSR 10 you are having a physical contact, or you yourself is satisfying that requirement. So it's very difficult for if your BSR rate jumps from 5, it won't be possible to bring back to BSR 0. So I suggest, as my experience, it's a transportation, sex transportation. It's a different topic of discussion. There we say that we should go, we should hold us in the BSR 8, and it's like that. We should not go to the BSR 10. BSR 10 is the ejaculation, but BSR 8 is orgasm, and we are holding it in BSR 8 and then doing multiple orgasm. It's in the maybe very difficult for a normal layman to practice that, but as my suggestion is not to go beyond 5, because from BSR 0 to BSR 5 is not within our control, because the thoughts can give you this body sexual rate to 5. So better is not to go beyond 5, right? And the most better is to keep the BSR in the 0. Okay, so we should continuously bombard with higher ideals. Only you can hold your mind in BSR 0, and this is what the Brahmacharya means. Brahmacharya means keeping the BSR in the 0 level, right? And also the Brahmacharya doesn't just mean to only BSR, all sensual pleasures like your attachment towards food, your thoughts, your greed, all this comes under Brahmacharya, not just not just physical relation. Okay, so don't misunderstand it with sexual happiness. It's keeping in control of every essential pressures. I've seen the people who are elderly people who keep control in sexual pleasures, but maybe I don't know how they are in, because the sexual happiness is very private, so we do not know how much they are in keeping in control or not. But prima facie they seems to be very controlled in sex, but they're emotionally attached to the food. They will, you know, they eating a lot of foods, or giving a lot of importance to the choice of food. Then the greed and all those things, all those essential pressures, like on the interest in vehicles, and keep on reading about all those sensual entertainments, even watching movies, watching mega serials, going for it's all comes under the sensual pressures. You name it, any kind of happiness that gives you a sense, that comes under sensual pressure. So all this has to be in check. That's what brahmacharya is, not just the physical relation. Okay, and I think the physical relation is easy to control, because after when you grow up, when a person grow up, then your brain becomes, it's all a cocktail of release of hormones from the brain that gives you this kind of happiness. But when you grow old, then all this gets disturbed, right? So that you are not that much of you will be interested in the sexual happiness. So that's what the people, elderly people, are easily they are avoiding this kind of saying brahmacharya is to keep the sexual pressures out of control. That is because their body itself is not capable to do that, right? So but the choice of food, but their interest in food and all those things, they are not able to control, right? So brahmacharya is complete control of all senses, not just a sexual happiness. And that's all. Thank you.